At the start of the semester, our Women's Lives and Fight Like a Girl textbooks contained a section informing readers about a piece of legislation called Title IX. This title, created by Richard Nixon in 1972, was placed into the Education Amendments Act in order to prohibit sex-based discrimination and stop sports program inequities in order to level the playing field between male and female athletes. As a woman who's been involved in sports since a young age, the issues still surrounding women's athleticism spoke to me as a topic I wish to spread awareness about. For my service learning project, I began brainstorming what can be done to enlighten others about the persistent inequalities, common issues, protections we have, and what can be done to continue helping the cause. In Chapter 2 of Seeley's Fight Like a Girl, in the Take Action section, readers were given a list of ways to promote forms of activism, and on that list, hosting a workshop appeared to be the most successful way to share my information. But first, I needed to secure a community sponsor that I believed would provide the most beneficial partnership. Now presented itself as the most accessible, useful, helpful, and appropriate women's organization to work with. Now is a fantastic student-run club here at UCF who host frequent meetings which are very informational and inspiring. At these meetings, they often address important social issues, find ways to combat the problems, and work towards equality for all. I was able to quickly get in contact with NOW's president, Sarah Siraj, and begin planning and organizing the event. We worked closely together to design the flyers, hand out flyers at tabling, and secure the room for the presentation. In between our meetings, I was working on researching more information about Title IX, wrote a speech, and designed a PowerPoint. The registered student organization secured a date in the student union for me on the 6th of November. On Tuesday the 3rd, I created a Facebook event and sent out invitations encouraging people to come out to my workshop. I secured 6 attendees and 2 possible attendants. I planned to table that Monday the 2nd and Wednesday the 4th with NOW. Unfortunately, we were unable to table on Monday due to a rainstorm breaking NOW's tent. Thus, Wednesday became a very crucial date for me to promote. I met with Killian, an officer from NOW, at 10 that morning and handed out flyers until 12:30. Not only were flyers distributed, but we also had students fill out my Like a Girl posters to have students feel more empowered and to dispel the common stereotypes that like a girl isn't as good. I was lucky enough to have the help of NOW to continue handing out flyers and posters as well as take photos that day. The officers of the organization also were so kind as to continue having students fill out the Like a Girl posters and take pictures as I was in class that afternoon. At the NOW meeting that evening, Sarah also announced in NOW's PowerPoint about my workshop happening that Friday so members of the organization would know about the event as well. That night, I met with Killian before the meeting to discuss a concern I had regarding my speech. I wanted to make sure I wasn't making people who do not identify as male or female to possibly feel alienated by any information presented. I told them how there was a huge lack of research regarding people of other genders in sports program issues. They told me this was a common occurrence and that people of other genders are often underrepresented in much of this research. We decided the best way to make sure no one is offended is to bring up the fact that there is a huge lack of research at the beginning of the presentation in order to clarify. Leading up to the days of the presentation, I practiced my speech multiple times a day to make sure it flowed smoothly and that I voiced all the information I wished to share with others. The day of the presentation, I was extremely excited to share my hard work. I arrived at the Union at 6 p.m. to be led into the Pensacola Ballroom and in order to make sure my PowerPoint was working and set up my snacks and papers for the attendees. Listeners began showing up around 6:50 and I began my presentation at 7:10. I took my attendees through the motions of what the problem is, many of the problems still present, what we have in place to help solve the problem, and what we can do to further everyone's activism. I started by explaining what feminism is, in case some were unfamiliar with the term. I then told about Title IX and the 3-part test to determine if schools are in compliance with its legislation. From there, I shared with my audience a lot of common issues still present, even with the implementation of the law, such as how men still receive $176 million more scholarship dollars a year than do women, as well as how a lot of people believe that men's football shouldn't be regarded under because it's a sports program that raises money for the school. But in actuality, at 64% of Division I and Division II colleges, the football program actually loses money. And besides, why would economics be okay to allow for such discrimination? After voicing some of the common discrepancies, I then explained to listeners how there has been good benefits from the title, such as an increase of 2 in 5 high school girls now participating in varsity sports, as well as a lot of other positive changes. I then explained some of the proven benefits benefits females who are active in sports receive, such as improved academic performance and lower rates of teen pregnancies. I also made sure to let listeners know how to continue helping the cause and provided them with a list of easy ways to make a difference. I planned to share the Always Like a Girl campaign and had the audience fill out their own Like a Girl posters. At the end of the workshop, I informed listeners about the sports day I was having at Lake Claire next Thursday, where to find more research about women in athletics, how to get involved with the university's sports teams, and thank Now for being a fantastic community sponsor. In total, I had 10 listeners at my workshop, and I was very satisfied with this turnout considering it was a Friday night and that many students would not be on campus at this time. I was very proud of my presentation and received many compliments from my attendees about what they learned at the event. I couldn't wait for the sports day to come next Thursday and to hopefully have another good showing and encourage more to get involved. On the afternoon of the 12th, I drove back from New Smyrna Beach to campus in order to prepare for the sports day happening that evening. Sarah, the president of Now, contacted me earlier that day and informed me to post the sports day event on the Now Facebook page to get more members involved. A good friend of mine who participates in intramural volleyball also decided to help me run the event that evening. Allie and I arrived at Lake Claire at 6:45 to wait for other participants to show up. I began with 4, then 9, then 12, and ended the night with 19 participants. As new participants arrived each time, I would give them an explanation of what the event was for, the purpose of Title IX, the discrepancies still present, the positive changes made, what we can do to help, and thank them for coming. I also had my participants who felt comfortable filling out a Like a Girl poster take pictures with their motivational posters. I was amazed by the support the participants voiced when telling them about the event's purpose. Everyone who came out was extremely encouraging and proud to show their activism by getting involved. We had a fantastic time, and the sports day was an absolute success. Every time I have a new assignment to complete in this course, I always learn new information that inspires me as a third-wave feminist to continue working towards a solution to the problem and towards the betterment of others. Being able to choose a topic pertaining to information learned in the course and actually taking part in a form of activism was a remarkable experience which had not only inspired me to continue promoting women's involvement in sports, but to also continue attending Now meetings and continue visiting their tabling events on Mondays and Wednesdays. I was proud to have been able to garner the attention of other students around campus about the information I researched. And I was even more proud to share that information with students who came out to the presentation in Sports Day. The attendees voiced to me how they learned a lot about women's athleticism not previously known and that they felt motivated to continue working towards a change. Though women still face setbacks such as 60,000 fewer participation opportunities because of sports program inequities, much change has been generated since 1972 thanks to Title IX. Research has found that women who participated in high school sports led to earning higher wages as well as obtaining occupations previously dominated by males. There's simple ways to keep making a difference, such as buying young girls sports-related gifts or showing your support at women's sporting events. It's crucial to keep promoting the fact that Like a Girl isn't an insult, but a compliment. Like a Girl is a powerful, extraordinary, and wonderful way to do anything. Many issues regarding women's equality in athletics have experienced tremendous positive changes, and it's our job to go out in the world, share our activism, voice our concerns, speak our opinions, tell our information, and show the world that women do it just as well.